Hello and welcome to the debate. I'm your host, Maqbool, with you at PTV World. In today's show, we're going to be taking a look at the current political dynamics of the country with about a week left to the elections. Next Thursday, on the 8th of February, the elections are going to be held, as has been reiterated once again after the meeting that the ECP called with regards to the security situation of the country, after which the Interior Minister also briefed the country once again that come what may, elections will be held on the 8th of February as per schedule. And this is, of course, another effort to putting an end to all the speculations that keep on arising, unfortunately, even this close to the elections, that there might be a delay or that elections will not happen as planned. And this is something that has been denied time and again by the leadership and different institutions, of course. And again, with regards to the security situation that was being cited as the possible reasons behind any sort of delay, especially with what has happened in recent days against political parties and candidates in KP and Balochistan, and of course the kind of terrorist incidents that have also happened in these provinces, that there might be such a possibility. But this has been put to an end by the meeting and announcement today. This, of course, also now brings to question as whether or not finally all of this has been put to an end and there will be no such conversation till the 8th of February. And also with regards to how the political parties now will be moving ahead with their campaigns and what sort of plans exist with regards to the last few days of the elections. And we're going to be taking a look at the major political parties and their participation in the elections and what their plans are, and of course the promises that they've been making to the public at large, and what is going to be the plan ahead in terms of whoever gets to get the government, and what sort of action point exists with regards to the kind of political and economic problems that the country is facing, of course security issues as well, and then of course with regards to collaboration points and political consensus. That's something that is something that unfortunately has been evading Pakistani politics. We're going to be taking a look at all of this in our first segment of the show today. Our next one, we're going to be taking a look at the announcement by the PTI saying that they're going to be going ahead with intra-party polls, fresh polls that are going to be conducted on the 5th of February, and the schedule has also been released. And this is, of course, something which has caused them to lose their electoral symbol, the BAD, because of the previous intra-party polls and the court hearings, and then, of course, the ECP's objections with regards to the matter. Whether or not this is going to help the situation for PTI in the upcoming elections, how much of this is going to add to their participation in the upcoming elections, and how acceptable this will be to the Election Commission of Pakistan, of course, are questions that we're going to try and understand, and also with regards to the way that this is going to impact and influence the matter of independent candidates that are being backed by the PTI. So we're going to be taking a look at that at the end of our show today. For this and more, as always, in the studios, I've been joined by senior analyst Farrukh Pitafi and Raja Faisal. We've also been joined online. We will be joined for our first segment by Mr. Zulfikar Ali Bader, who's leader PPP, and Mr. Ramesh Singh Arora, who's leader PML-N, and they'll both join us on telephone line. So we're going to be talking to them a little bit about what their parties are planning to do. But Faisal, let me start with you with regards to especially the announcement that the ECP meeting has made. What exactly do you think of this particular announcement, and whether you think that this ends any possibility of further talk about delays?
Certainly, Sana. Obviously, it ends all of the talks. Obviously, we know that in recent times, and especially during the whole week, there were speculations. Then, of course, that security is the situation. If it deteriorates, then of course it can impact on the dates of the elections. And there are precedents as well, that in 2008 it took place, obviously after the assassination of Mohtarama Benazir Bhutto. It did take place, but only for a couple of weeks. It was not that that somebody had extended it for months. But here I just want to mention that even today our security forces, I mean, thanks God we have security forces who are working day and night to ensure the safety of the people, ensure the safety of the system as well. Obviously, security forces and intelligence services, they know that the extraordinary situation is in Pakistan. Of course, we are heading towards an election, so they are upbeat related to it, that they are countering all of the problems or hindrances faced to this election. They are countering it. Even today, I mean, earlier we had the breaking news, and one of my source is telling me that the two of the terrorists who are neutralized in Dera Ismail Khan today, in one of the IBOs, intelligence-based operations. They were to conduct their obviously terrorism too related to the election campaigns of the political parties. So this is on the backdrop, is taking place all the time, and we should be thankful to our security forces and intelligence services as well, that they are working day and night to make sure and ensure the election takes place on 8th of February. And
right.
I think this is an excellent announcement that came from ECP today, that we are heading towards elections on 8th.
But Faisal, you also keep on pointing towards any possible situation or any unprecedented situation with regards to the security threats that, of course, were discussed earlier today as well. But the Interior Minister has again clarified that come what may, elections will happen. Does that not also put an end to that?
It does put an end to that.
So there is no possibility?
No possibility.
Regardless of the situation?
Regardless of the situation,
okay,
yes.
Great. I'm glad we have that cleared out. Let us also welcome in the debate Zulfikar Ali Bader, leader PPP, who has joined us on telephone line. Thank you very much, Zulfikar sir, for joining us and being part of the discussion. And of course, I'm sure you'd be happy to know, once again, that the ECP has reiterated that the elections will be held on time. How prepared is your party with regards to the kind of campaigns that have been going on and the promises that have been put out by the PPP? We, of course, heard the PPP leader speaking about how they're going to be fulfilling this in 6 months' time. What sort of momentum do you think you feel from the public in different provinces, particularly in Punjab, and whether or not you'll be able to accomplish this within 6 months?
And while campaigning, are you ensuring the security or safety of your leaders as well?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Thank you very much, Sana, for taking me on your show, and my regards to rest of the participants, especially Pitafi Saab. We have been campaigning only in Lahore. Myself focusing in NA127. I welcome the decision of ECP that they are going to hold elections on time, and they have actually denied all those rumors or speculations which are going in the market, on the media and social media, that there are possibilities of delaying the elections in KP and Balochistan. So I think this is a good decision, because it's about time the election should happen, and free, fair and transparent election should happen. And our party has actually been on the run and on ground and fulfilling all the possibilities of connecting to the people all over Pakistan. Mr. Bilawal Bhutto Zardari have been working really hard, traveling from city to city, from all provinces, and connecting to people, conveying their 10 points agenda manifesto to the people. And we will be able to, and our manifesto is very practical, because the way we launched the Benazir Income Support Program back in 2008, which was a dream of Shaheed Mohtarma Benazir Bhutto, and Mr. Asif Ali Zardari actually launched it, and it's a successful program. So out of that successful program, we have another 52 SPUs that are going to offshoot from this program. One is going to be Kisan card, Mazdoor card, and the youth card, and the health card, and a number of other initiatives that are going to come out of it. So, and they are all doable, especially about the solar panel for the poor people, which is going to give them 300 units of electricity free of cost because of the solar panel. And focusing on the election campaign, we are very much inclined, and we are very much working hard, and it's very surprising the kind of response that we are getting from Punjab, and especially in Lahore. And in Lahore, NA127 with all the Pakistan and international communities focusing that Mr. Bilawal Bhutto Zardari has taken a very bold decision and challenge to fight the election in NA127 from Lahore. So, I mean, I've been going door to door, connecting to the people, and people from all the political parties, whether they were aligned to PTI or PML-N, and they are actually all out, especially the females and the youth. They are all out to support Mr. Bilawal Bhutto Zardari, and you'll see the result of this constituency, it's going to be a huge surprise, a success for PPP that every person is going to vote. Majority of the youth and women are going to vote for Bilawal Bhutto Zardari, and I think this is an overwhelming response from people, and I hope that this election is going to be free, fair, and transparent, and the people who matter, they are not going to intervene, especially the local administration, the police, and all the people who are actually maneuvering and intercepting the election campaign, because they have been providing extraordinary, facilities to the PML-N candidates, and they have been disturbing our campaign by holding our people.
Right, absolutely, Zulfikar Saab. Faisal has been eager to ask a question, so please hear that out.
And then I have a follow-up also.
Yeah, Zulfikar Saab, you rightly pointed out earlier, obviously we have, kept on seeking answers to our questions in recent past related to what kind of policies People's Party would be coming up with if they are coming into power. And you have highlighted rightly that, of course, youth card and Kisan card, and you have mentioned about all of these facilities and health card as well. By the looks of it, it feels like you were highlighting PTI's previous government's facilities. So if there are projects that are quite similar to PTI's projects, then it means that People's Party would be endorsing them projects that has been going on in the PTI's government. Would you agree that the good works which were done in that government will be continued by People's Party if it comes into power?
And by the way, because you also mentioned 300 units, and you particularly said that solar, through solar energy it will be fulfilled. Was the solar bit not as the afterthought, because earlier you promised that you are going to actually make it free for everybody, and then you realized that it cannot be done?
And Zulfikar Saab, I'm going to add another one on top with reference to what you have said with regards to the campaign going on in Lahore, and I understand that the party's emphasis has been on the province, but do you think that this has impacted the situation in Karachi, or do you still have support in other parts of the country, and why this emphasis this time around with reference to Lahore? And secondly, with regards to what you've mentioned, your confidence in getting votes from women and the youth, what are you basing this on? How are you so sure that PPP will be getting the votes by the women and the youth?
Okay, let me clarify that
You can take your time and deal with each question one by one.
So I want to clarify one thing, that the Pakistan People's Party is not following any of the policy of PTI. If you look at deeply into the Pakistan Benazir Income Support Program, there were 52 initiatives of this program, where there is a Kisan card, there is a labor card, there is a youth card, and number of other initiatives. They are all being copied and taken from this. Even Asas program name was changed, and this was an initiative of Benazir Income Support Program as well. So it is the initiative of Pakistan People's Party, and People's Party is actually taking it further, and it's taking it further and trying to bring more initiating out of it. So there is no possibility that we are going to copy. In fact, PTI did a copy of our policies, and they launched these programs. There is no harm in launching, but you have to actually acknowledge and appreciate and give credit who actually launched it. So it's not like that Mr. Bhutto brought the atomic power in the country and somebody just pressed the button and just took the whole credit. It would not be like that. And coming to the question, what Mr. Pitafi Saab, can you repeat your question? I forgot.
You mentioned that 300 units will be free, yes, and yes, at that time, particularly initially, there wasn't any mention of solar aspect of it. Was it not an afterthought that after committing to it, you realized that it cannot be financially done.
No,
So you
actually, you see, when Mr. Bilawal Bhutto Zardari mentioned about the 300 units of electricity, so there was a confusion that this electricity is going to be burden on the, like a subsidy on the government. So he clarified that this is going to be something like the government is going to subsidize and give this relief to the poor people for the solar panels installing in their houses, and from where they can get the maximum output of 300 units in shape of electricity from the solar energy. So I think this was very much clarified.
Badr Sahab, who is going to pay for those solar panels?
Sir, it's just like because there are a lot of international donor agencies, Government of Pakistan and the provincial government and World Bank, just like Benazir Income Support Program, there are going to be a lot of donor agencies who are going to actually contribute and make a plan for this thing because they want to, eradicate poverty and bring people out of the poverty line and give people the, because this is a one-time investment, and this one-time investment should be in such a way, in such a transparent manner, and that can only be done through Benazir Income Support Program's criteria, and we have to follow that.
Zulfikar Sahib, do you have any MOUs signed between People's Party as a political party and them donors?
You see, I tell you, this we are claiming that we are going to do this once we take over the government. We never claim we are going to do this as a political party. That we'll be doing it once Mr. Bilawal Bhutto Zardari will come into power. As we launched the program when we came into power back in 2008, when we launched Benazir Income Support Program, it was with, with the support of a lot of international agencies. So it's not that only we have to, as a Pakistan People's Party, has to do it. It is the government of Pakistan will facilitate the people of Pakistan who are poor enough, who can't afford, electricity, and we are going to facilitate them.
Right, and Zulfikar Sahab, my question with regards to the situation in Lahore and the party's potential in Karachi and Sindh, and then of course with regards to votes by the youth and women.
Yes. Actually, I don't know about Karachi, but Lahore, we have been facing problems from the administration, and administration is actually, biased, and they are very openly biased, and, taking our people into custody and telling our people not to use sound and harassing them and victimizing them and getting hold of them and making, launching false FIRs on them. So law and order, I mean, you can't control it, but we have been
what do you mean by administration? Do you mean the Punjab government?
Yes, the Punjab police and rest of the administration.
You selected the chief minister. Your party actually nominated the chief minister, right?
It was a mutual decision of our party, and I think the chief minister, I think he's not actually been participating in this kind of victimization, but under other people in the administration are actually being very much biased, and they are playing their own role, being, for their own political affiliation with some political party or strong tilt towards some political leaders. So they are victimizing our leaders.
Yeah, Zulfikar Sahab, earlier you mentioned about all of the policies which you will be introducing if you get the government and if you win the election at the national level. But what if supposedly, all of the good luck from my side and our team. But what if you do not form a government at the national level, and once again you are able to form a government in Sindh province, would you be instead introducing all of them policies in Sindh as a province? And if this time around you are going to do it, why didn't you do it previously?
And by the way, forgive Faisal when he talks about, income support program as PTI's project. He thinks that before PTI there was nothing being done.
Sorry,
But
I
that's
didn't
up.
hear. Safi sir, what did you say? I beg your pardon.
I just said that forgive Faisal when he actually refers to Asas program as PTI's pet project, because he thinks that before PTI nothing was being
No,
done. in the country.
I was referring to the solar project.
No, earlier you. And by the way, health card is not their project. They
Yeah.
believe in something else. Yeah. So go ahead.
So I personally feel that Pakistan People's Party, once they get into power, they are certainly going to contribute and implement all these policies in Sindh. And before that time, because that was not in the policy agenda, so they didn't do it before. So once they have actually brainstormed and noted down all these 10 points, so they are going to implement whatever they can do in their provincial capacity. Uh, but some of the programs they need to have a federal government. And once Pakistan People's Party is going to get the government, they are going to certainly implement all these programs.
Right, and Zulfikar Sab, I'm pleased to see your confidence when you changed if you win to once you win. And I want to understand where that's coming from and how the party maintains such high motivation.
You see, one should be always positive, and I am a very strong believer of hope and destiny, and keeping my fingers crossed, because the way we have been working hard, none of the party is doing that much hard work, and our leadership is very positive about, and people are very much appreciating about that he is not talking about the division and hatred among the people, and that is a good, omen and good sign among the people that Mr. Bilawal Bhutto Zardari should be the next Prime Minister. So that's why we are very positive once we make the government. And I really appreciate for wishing us good luck and, appreciating us.
Absolutely. Good luck is for everyone, and of course, the best party wins.
Yeah, Zulfikar Sab, let me tell you, you are actually, keeping the legacy of your father very brilliantly.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I really appreciate. Need your prayers and luck.
Zulfikar sir, please also add to the plans specifically with regards to, I know you mentioned a few of them already, but with regards to the economic situation that the country is facing, and particularly when we talk about dealing with the IMF, we've had previous conversations also as to how the newly set up government will be able to negotiate further with the IMF, what sort of policies will be put in place, how the SFC will continue, what sort of aspects will be taken in with regards to who exactly will be dealing the finance ministry, which is also another question I want you to answer in terms of who your party will be putting up in this position, and how exactly will the party ensure that we continue on a pathway which allows us to progress and move forward with the IMF or not, as whatever you think is the best way possible, or in terms of the kind of tough challenges that the government will have to make the decisions at home.
I can't actually take a name of any person who is going to be the finance minister or who is going to be on whatever capacity they are going to come and they are going to take decisions, because we haven't decided anything till now. So once we win the elections and we get the majority and we'll be able to form the government, I think then we'll be able to sit down and, find the best person who will be the best person to negotiate, who can understand the economy and work closely with all the political stakeholders, all the political forces, take everybody along, So we need somebody like that, and there are a number of people in our party who are very much, able.
Badar Sahab, sorry to cut you, but there's a reason we keep on emphasizing the need for a finance minister. When your party last time was in government, you changed 5 finance ministers in 5 years. And that was the case with PTI also. This time it is going to be a different story, sir?
So this time is going to be one finance minister, and that is going to continue, hopefully. because Mr. Bilawal Bhutto Zardari is going to keep his good finance minister, and we have to keep somebody who is competent enough with his personality and his caliber, his education, background, and competency on the subject matter. That is very important.
Zulfikar Sahab, you have pointed out earlier that the finance minister would be the one who has excellent relations with all of the stakeholders. Can that finance minister be the current one, interim, finance minister? She can continue as well, because what we have seen is that she has been, working relentlessly to get the economy back on track. Once she has obviously been successful in dealing so, then can we expect from People's Party that they will be willing to continue with all of the policies and along with the person behind the policies?
Okay, Faisal, how many finance ministers are you going to recommend, by the way, on here?
Only one.
One thing that Pakistan People's Party is going to have their own finance minister, and we don't mind carrying forward all the good policies of any government. In fact, we will appreciate taking all those policies which are going to be helpful for the country and the people of Pakistan.
Right. So, Zulfikar Sahab, there's also, of course, what the party's leadership has also put forward to, of course, your opponents as a form of debate that you think should exist with reference to different political leaders sitting together. Why do you think that hasn't happened so far, irrespective of whether or not it's coming as an offer from the PPP? As a party, do you believe that this is something that's substantial and important, and that the people should get to decide based on the kind of responses that the leaders can give to tough questions?
I beg your pardon, your voice was breaking. Can you repeat, please? Thank you.
Right. Zulfikar Sahab, my question is with regards to debates by different political leaders that your party has also hinted towards and has asked of other opponents in these elections. Why do you think that isn't happening, and how important it is for the people to be able to see their leaders answering tough questions?
You see, it's very important because if you want to be able to fight for some particular position, for example, if you want to be the future prime minister, then all the candidates who wants to contest for that particular position, they should stand and they should have a debate in front of the public, and they should express and tell people about the foreign policy, about the economic policy, about the agriculture policy, about the health policy, about the education, about internal, external challenges, about a relationship with your neighbors, that how you're going to transform your country, that people should know that who is the best person that who can actually lead your country, who has the charisma, who has the vision, who has the knowledge, who has the education, who is the best person that you want your country to lead for future. That is important, so people will be able to see that the person who are standing along with each other, that let them be the judge to judge and decide that who is the best person out of all the debates, who can select that particular person out of those candidates. The best person is going to be somebody who is going to outperform and tell without reading from the receipt or reading from the paper.
Right.
So
right, absolutely. And Zulfikar Sahab, we thought that we were going to have a sort of mini debate in today's show with somebody from the PML-N also coming in, but unfortunately they couldn't make it. But I wanted to ask you this of the PML-N. Their manifesto, of course, took very long, but they were very sure that once it came out, it'll be worth it. You, of course, would have seen it as well. What do you think of that?
I actually haven't read it because we have been focusing on other points, but few of the points I think which the PML leader have been talking in their debates, in their public gatherings, they are mostly the points which Pakistan People's Party leadership have been narrating in the public gatherings. So it's most likely the copy-paste of the things from Pakistan People's Party, because if they had their own manifesto or agenda, so they would have launched it a time before, well before time, from Pakistan People's Party, but they were late. So they waited for us to launch this 10-point agenda, and then they come up with their own manifesto, copying all the
We actually
important
waited
points.
quite long after that as well. But thank you very much, Zulfikar Sahib, for joining us and being part of the discussion. And we hope that we'll be having more leaders from different political parties on the show as well and get their opinion on, of course, the few days that are left to the elections now. But we're also going to take a look at what is happening with regards to the PTI and their announcement of intra-party polls on the 5th of Feb. And this is after the scenario with the ECP and their previous intra-party polls and, of course, the court hearings that followed, and then the decision of their bat symbol being taken away. But now we're seeing that on the 5th, they're planning to have their inter-party polls, and schedule has also been released. And Faisal, I want your opinion on this with regards to how much of a relevance will this have for these elections? What sort of impact will it create? What value does it add for both the party or the ECP? And how does it influence the party's potential in these elections?
Yes, Sana, obviously, if we talk about PTI going for their intra-party election, we know that in November they had one which was not accepted, and of course it was challenged in the courts, and Supreme Court actually, rightly went against that. And Supreme Court advised them to have a fresh election, intra-party election, so that all of the anomalies which were highlighted in their previous intra-party elections, that can be sorted out. And this time around, of course, they want to do it before the election itself. The only reason one can see behind it is that, of course, they are eyeing upon that if they are able to grab on seats from the independent candidates, then they will be able to obviously seek the special seats as well for women and minorities, and all of the seats we always see that the political parties they gain, and that is crucial for them. And of course, if it is taking place on 5th of February, that means that they would be hurriedly going for another decision of that intra-party election, and that they have to obviously send it to ECP,
right.
And then ECP has to put it on their website, and that would show as they coming back.
Could the party have saved all of the trouble that they went through, especially their electoral symbol, if all of this had done before?
Oh,
or
yes.
was it too late?
Yes. I mean, Sana, I don't know why they did it, but previously when they had intra-party election, obviously in Chamkani, I mean, Chamkani, the name Chamkani was highlighted in the Supreme Court, and Chief Justice of Pakistan asked where is it and why you actually went there, all the way there. It's just a small town, a village where they conducted it. But of course, they were supposed to do it in their secretariat, and we are seeing that nowadays, I mean, PTI leadership of all tiers, they are gathering at their secretariat in Islamabad, which shows that now they are following all of the rules and regulations which they did not do before. And if they have done at that time, then I'm pretty much sure that they wouldn't have been facing even the problem of stripped off from bat as their symbol, electoral symbol. So I think all of the problems which are being faced by PTI, they were sort of Abel Mujabar.
All right. Farrukh, with these intra-party polls, do you think that it will have an impact in terms of the leadership that will emerge from these intra-party polls, and whether or not it affects the following or the participation of PTI workers, and especially also the independence decision to join the party?
Right. Thank you very much for the question, Sana, and I'm going to answer that in a bit. But I wanted to also comment on the first segment, because at that time somehow I didn't get a chance to actually talk about it. I think that it is heartening to hear that all stakeholders are committed to the idea of holding elections on time, and I think that it actually answers all those people who would take a 180-degree somersault mid-air, like we witnessed yesterday in our program. But I think that answers everything, and I hope in coming days we see that the violence actually recedes. Now, talking about what PTI is doing and what how it is going to impact the elections, their own elections, and how it is going to affect their leadership. To answer that, there is a very simple saying in Urdu. I'm going to make a rough translation of it, and that is eating all the onions and getting thrashed also, right? Usually it is thought that you have to choose between two punishments: A, eat all the onions, or get thrashed. So if you are impatient, you try to do both, and then you keep on switching between the two, and in the end, you have eaten all the onions and you have been thrashed thoroughly as well. So what PTI now did could have been done earlier. Because they did not, this is not going to have any impact on this election, national election. Why? Because now ballot papers have been printed. Yesterday we at length actually covered that bit also, that now they don't have additional security papers to print it, and it can actually delay the electoral process. So even if they do it only 3 days before the national election, they are not going to be able to benefit from it. Having said that, I mean, if they actually go for upholding their own constitution, which by the way, they were disqualified, or the symbol was taken away because they failed their own constitution. So if their constitution, they uphold it and they actually hold a transparent election, it is going to have a good impact on their party. But the problem is that there are so many, so much infighting going on within the party, that these people will not be able to actually have a transparent election.
All right. Thank you, Farrukh. Thank you, Faisal, for always joining the debate. And we'll be back with more news with regards to the upcoming elections and, of course, talking about the current political situation. But that's all that we have from the show today. And we'll now see you tomorrow.